Hello, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. I'm just in the schoolroom. It's Sunday. We went to church this morning and then we came home and did some school, ran an errand, and now everybody is taking naps. I actually took a nap too, but I woke up and I was like, oh, it's going to be quiet in the schoolroom and I can actually sit down and do some kind of reflecting on the week. So if you want to join me for some reflection, I'm going to be talking about our vocabulary program, my second graders writing, how that is going, and something I'm going to maybe change up this week. So if you want to hang out, grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and let's go. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was go over my sixth graders' vocabulary packet, his quizzes. I actually kind of feel like ever since we took some time off for Christmas, and I swear we only took like one solid week off. But I kind of feel like all the holidays, there's kind of like this cumulative effect of just messing with everyone's equilibrium. And then I've kind of felt like school has been harder ever since we got back after Christmas. And it also just might be the weather is making everyone just kind of feel sluggish, you know? So I've been trying to whenever there's like a nice afternoon, the kids, force them to leave the house if, usually they want to, but sometimes, they're like just doing something in the house. I'm like, nope, you got to go outside now. They need that fresh air. I'm hoping we get I feel like things are kind of getting better, but it seems like it's harder for my sixth grader to adjust to changes. So we've been working through Red Hot Root Words, book 1. And I started this kind of like in the middle of his fifth grade year. So we're almost done with it. And we do one lesson a week. Yeah, he's so close to being done. And I use these vocabulary exercise packets to go along with the words in here. And he also does do the activities that go with it in the book. But I'll link these down below if you haven't seen them before. But so last week, so I require usually that he gets at least 8 out of 10 on his quiz. And I count spelling as 1 point for the word, and then the definition is another point. So he got a 6 out of 10 last week, was just like, I don't know if he's got a 6 out of 10, it's been a long, long time. And I was like, well, I could have him just completely repeat that week, right? But I think it's kind of my fault because I was like, I just really wanted to get done with this vocabulary book. So we're so close to the end of the book. I just wanted to push through. And I was like, well, we'll just go ahead and go on to the next lesson, but just so this is this week's, just keep your old packet with you and study your words every day. So after you do your assignment for your new list, just go ahead and, this was his test from last week, just go ahead and study your words. He did that, or, he says he's doing it. I reminded him every day to forget to study your last week's words. So he does this week's vocabulary. And so at the end of the week, which was today, I tested him on both, right? I was like, we'll just do both. So he got an 8 out of 10 on last week's words, right? That he's kind of re-studying again. But then he got another 6 out of 10 on this week's words. So now I'm like, oh, do I just do the same thing again? Do I just tell him, all right, well, I guess we can put, I just made a note to myself. We retested it, and I'll go back and make a note in my planner. I'll show you how I do that. So do I just repeat that same pattern, or do I have him just stop and just completely redo this week's for those set of words? See, I'm like getting ready to fill out. What are we going to do this week? So we got 6 out of 10. Part of it was he was like, he said, he just missed one M in commemorate. And he was switching around the IA and made it AI in 2 of the words. It's like, he actually only missed one of the definitions. And the other ones were just like little spelling errors. So I think that is something that he could just, with studying it more this week, probably fix. I don't think he has a big comprehension issue. It's just that he's not being careful about his spelling. I don't think he's paying close enough attention to it. So I'm going to go ahead and have him, I think, do that. Where do I put my coffee where I won't spill it? I'm so afraid I'm going to spill my own coffee, you guys. So I'm just going to make a note in my planner, right? So can you see where this was his last week's, this is his last week's spelling, his vocab test. So I'm just going to write slash that, say 8 out of 10 on retest. Right. We did that today, 2/12. Okay. But then he gets, this week, he got a 6 out of 10 again. Oops, that's vocab test. He did do all that today. And he's doing really well in his Saxon. So he's going to need to retest on, what's this, 219. I'll give myself another space. So that's how I'm addressing that issue with our vocabulary right now. So I'm just gonna fill this out for him. Goes to 219.23. Falls under reading. 10. He's going to be on lesson 41. I cannot write. Which is on pride or pre, meaning first. They said meaning first. Okay, so he's just gonna have to study those, and I will put it. I usually just maybe he looks like, see, this almost always happens. I find that when he doesn't pass a test or something, it's because he didn't do all his work, and I can just see now that he didn't do this whole page worth of work in his book, which may have helped him. I'm gonna tell him he has to do that. I'm gonna make him a note. Study last week's list, do page 94. There it goes. All right, so we're moving on. Okay, the other thing that I was kind of wanting to reflect on is my second grader's writing. So right now, he does copy work, and let me get that out. It goes along with his reader. And so right now, these are our two writing resources, and we're just going back and forth day to day. So I've talked about this before, but just in case you haven't caught my channel before, so we go back and forth between McGuffey's second eclectic reader and copy work for it, and then he's reading the original first reader. And on those days, we've been doing this. I was doing gentle grammar, but we thought it'd be fun to do story writing. I will just say that he likes the idea of writing stories. And, but it is like ending up being a lot of work. Look at this. It's a lot of me correcting. And it's a lot of him, a lot more coaching him than I want to do. So I think, let's see how much editing and correcting I had to do. So, but it does really show you, he's trying, which is good, but it does really show you what they don't know when they have to produce their own writing. But I think I may shelve this for now. And it says grades 1 through 3, right? He's second grade. We may just shelve this, and this is what I'm going to do for right now. So in his copy work, I've been reviewing the, just some grammar, like nouns is what we've been doing lately. So this is something different, but so like his last assignment that he did, I just wrote noun, person, place, thing, or idea. And I just had him go through and highlight all the nouns, right, in the model writing. And so I thought we'd have him do the same thing. I've got 2 components here to show you. I like to do more with what I have versus trying to find something all new, if you know what I mean. So I have this book, this Usborne First Illustrated Grammar and Punctuation book. And the kids actually just like really looking through it because they like all the pictures and stuff. But it's got great information, and it actually even has like quizzes in it to kind of test their knowledge. Anyway, so I went on to, because you're like, okay, but I'm sure this is going to cover more years than, this isn't like 2nd grade level only, right? This is going to cover probably all the way through elementary school or something kind of stuff. But I did go on to the Ron Paul curriculum website, and I looked at their syllabuses for reading and like English, because writing is kind of, I think they didn't have like a separate writing syllabus. It was just reading and then like English. So 1st grade, I was like, let's just start 1st grade. I was like, I wanted to go over grammar because we're already doing our phonics and stuff through our reading or McGuffey, so I don't worry too much about that. But I did want to go over grammar stuff. Plurals with Y endings, comparatives, contractions, proper nouns, adjectives, compound words, verbs, have, has, have, specifically, right? Punctuation, verbs, see and saw, open and closed vowels, adjectives, capitalization. Oh, that's more of a spelling thing. Adding endings to words, synonyms, antonyms, story parts, cause and effect, the prefix un, pronouns, parts of speech, I and me, capitalizing, two and two, story maps, homophones, identifying nouns, and lists. I talked about homophones already in their spelling, but it doesn't hurt to look for them other places too. This is 1st grade. I know he's in 2nd grade, but I just feel like a lot of times things are introduced like so soon, even in a good curriculum like Ron Paul, 2nd grade, this is our 2nd grade reading syllabus. And this one's going by the actual lesson. This one was just going by the week, what was going to be shown. So they have subject and predicate, sentence, punctuation, common and proper nouns, singular and plural nouns. So I don't know. I kind of just like this one better. I think I'm just going to, a lot of this we've probably inadvertently already kind of covered just talking about stuff. So I'm going to put this aside for now and focus on, we were just talking about subject and predicate the other day. So I think you talk about a lot of things, but if you don't have a plan to repeatedly expose them to stuff, they kind of lose it. You know what I mean? So I'm doing nouns right now, right? And there's all types of nouns. So any noun, I was going to have him do. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of work off of this for a while, this syllabus, to kind of just give me something to go off of and be consistent. I'm just going to write maybe on the back of his. So we're going to go over nouns, person, place, animal, thing, or idea. I'm making him a little key. I should have done the color first and then wrote on top of it. So I'm going to give him highlighters he can use. I really like these highlighters. I'll link these down below because they don't bleed through my paper so much. Like some of my highlighters, the darker colors are kind of more like markers where they're like showing through, and I don't like that. But I really like this set of highlighters. Nouns, and they also are about common and proper nouns here, which he knows what a proper noun is just because I know he's already familiar with proper nouns. I'll just go ahead and proper nouns. He understands what that means. Okay, so then I've got subject and predicate. So subject, predicate, who or what, and the predicate is the action part of sentence. So I would have him use, make the predicate or the subject one color, the predicate another color within a sentence. And that's really easy with simple sentences. It gets more complex with more complex sentences. Sentence punctuation, he's pretty much got that one down. Singular and plural nouns. Plural nouns. So remember there's S, ES, and IES, right? On the end of some kind of noun. So we could have him look for those. So he could highlight it, do that, and then he could maybe underline plural nouns. Verbs. The verbs are action and state of being words. And then adjectives. I think I'll have him do nouns. I should have to do proper nouns underlined. And then adjectives fully colored, fully highlighted. Words that describe nouns. So I'm pretty much up to here with those. So I think I'm just going to go week by week, just do like doing these like one theme a week. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I probably could do nouns and then go back and underline plural nouns as one day. So I'm going to use this in his little book, in his copybook, right? So he's already in here. He's going to be doing his handwriting, right? He's practicing his best handwriting. He is going to go back and highlight all the nouns, and then he will underline plural nouns. He'll be able to open this up, and I'd have him do both of these, I think, for one sitting, because they're only a few lines each. Then he's going to go through and he's going to just make the note more than one. It's good for him to see that because we are going to be covering that in spelling boot camp too. So he can highlight any nouns in this teal, and then if they're plural nouns, he underlines them. He does copy work like 3 times a week. So the next one we'll just do, if he did nouns and plural nouns, right? Then maybe the next day we'll do nouns, plural nouns, proper nouns. And I'll put these highlighters in his little box for him to use. And then he can do that page that day. And then, let's see, over here he could do nouns, plural nouns, proper nouns, and it might be a good day for the subject. The subjects are going to be nouns, right? Okay, we'll see if that's too much for this week. So there's that, my little plan, and we can always refer to this, right? Maybe I should just read up on nouns that day before he does his. Usually what I have him do when I do multiple things with copy work is I just have him do the handwriting component first, and then I check that, and we have him go back and rewrite anything that needs to be spiffed up a little bit, because we're going for take your time and just do your very, very best handwriting, right? Really focusing on the handwriting. And then we go back and we use that same text to study, grammar or writing deeper. So maybe that's a good time to start to then go to read something like this, like word classes. Each time you speak or write, you put together a mixture of different kinds of words known as word classes. Each word class has its own particular job to do, like nouns. It's kind of nice that he already knows what nouns are, because then he won't be trying to adjust to like something new and processing a new term. You know what I mean? So nouns tell you the name of a person, an animal, a thing, or a place, such as Joe, tiger, shop, and Rome. And then we will say there's pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and articles. Those are other types of words. We haven't talked about prepositions, conjunctions, or articles ever, but we have talked about these other classes of words. You don't often see all the word classes together, but the sentence below contains them all. Katie and I swam slowly around the crumbling wreck, and it lists them all out. So we could look at that for a while, talk about that. Anyway, so that's just something I'm going to be kind of working into his copy work this week. The other thing, so that story writing, like I said, I actually kind of feel like right now it's a little too heavy for him. There's just too many elements between grammar and spelling and then trying to think about creating a plot. This is why copy work is just so perfect. And actually next year, I'm going to start him into writing and rhetoric, book 1, which is fables, which is stories. And I actually think this will do a better job of modeling and practicing in learning about stories and how to write stories. So yeah, I don't know if we'll come back to that one. Maybe later in the year, maybe over the summer, we'll see if he's, if I feel like he's ready, we can try it again. Okay, but what I was going to replace it with for right now was something like this. So I just went on to, these were actually off of education.com. These are, but there was a bunch of them on Teachers Pay Teachers too. If I went to just like, writing 2nd grade free, and I typed in, fill-in story, and there was a bunch of fill-in stories came in there as well. I'll leave you guys some links in the description box. But I thought this would be a good thing to use for help him with writing, because he's just filling in and he's kind of getting the idea. He kind of gets a little story, right, when he's done, which is fun and satisfying. And then also town name, we can say, what is that? That is a proper noun, right? So this is another way to reinforce our grammar lessons. And then here's some other ones. Describing word, color. So I'll fill those out with them. So I think these will be, I'll just have them do one of these on the other days. Like they start getting bigger, longer. And I think he'll enjoy these too. See, these now they go to actually saying things like adjective, noun, past tense, verb, so they're moving it up on them. And then this one it had pictures already. It said, once upon a time, when the spaceship landed. So maybe it'll kind of lead him into, maybe by the time we get to the end of this, he'll be able to better put together a story. But he has some pictures to use as inspiration, right? We're going to focus a little bit more on grammar in his copy work with the aid of Usborne First Illustrated Grammar and Punctuation. And we'll kind of see, this is my first week kind of like formally incorporating this. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if I can get to a planning video to see if I have any updates or tweaks to how I'm going to use it. There we have it. This is my problem solving for vocab and writing this week in our homeschool. Oh, don't forget to check the description box for links to